was like in the 70s.
Well, I think certainly the employment levels were probably a little bit higher. I mean, more people had, what you would consider career jobs because we had in the 70s, all the factories were open.
And people were able to, households were able to exist on a one
income
income
right.
household.
And, you think about,
yeah.
You had Mrs. Smith's Pies, you had Bethlehem Steel, you had Firestone, Dole Jarvis,
and,
Dana.
Yep.
Different situation.
Yeah. And a lot of those jobs, think about it. Thousands of people that were employed here in Pottstown could walk a few blocks to go to their job.
Right.
So even though, yes, everybody says, gas is cheaper and all that other stuff, you might not even needed to use gas for the vast majority of your week. Gas.
Yeah. Right. So welcome to Porchcast, where we like for you to just hop in the middle of a conversation that you have no idea what we're talking about. That's kind of how we roll here.
We got a couple there's some people watching. It might just be us logged in on our own phones.
I'm having a hot flash.
Are you really?
Usual. Yes. It's 1,000 degrees in here. Is it not 1,000 degrees in here?
I'm starting to, whatever those.
It's just me?
No, I feel all right. But I was having a problem because I had those injections for my back. And that steroid that they gave me and those injections was making me feel super hot.
Super fun. Yeah.
But
hot, crazy, not sleeping.
Little bit
it's not as bad
irritated.
It's not as bad as like straight up prednisone, but it's all the same family.
Yeah.
I can talk to you.
That's starting to wear off. So I'm not as hot as I was.
Yeah. Either in temperature or in anger, right?
Right. Yeah. It's maybe my mood's starting to mellow out a little bit.
It is a real thing. It definitely is.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Let us know that you're watching as you're tuning into the show. This is Porchcast Pottstown, as Amy said. Tonight on the show, we have David Charles from the Strive Initiative, also from Pottstown, long time Pottstonian, right?
OG.
You've lived
Pottstown OG.
OG.
Yes.
Went to Pottstown High School.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And you live over here now, right?
Yes.
And is that where you grew up?
No, actually, I grew up in Bright
Hope.
Penn Village.
Back in the day.
PV.
Yeah, so that's in Porchcast and Pottstown tradition. You have to call it by what it used to be.
Yes.
So when did it change to Bright Hope?
When they wanted us to change our thought process to, it's not a village anymore. It's more
like a gateway. Yeah,
right.
A hope for the future.
Yeah, a hope for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But
I want to say that was like in the 80s.
Okay.
Or
it might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is
maybe
a
in the
village.
early 90s too.
In the early 90s.
It could have been. I can't remember.
I don't remember either. Everybody always just called it the village, or even it would get even shorter than that, the Ville.
The Ville.
or saying Penn Village,
or
was
some
just
of
too
us
many,
would be
just
like
too much.
PVP, because that was on the basketball court. It was PVP, so it was Penn Village Projects.
Okay,
It was on the basketball court,
right?
Okay. Yeah, in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
That's
it's
I mean, that's
straight
what it was.
up the projects, right? Let's just call it that. Yeah,
and a lot of people don't realize, but like you wanted to call it Right Hope, and they changed it, but the village was instrumental in a lot of our lives because of the community that it was. It was low income, but there was a way that we connected with each other. That
there really was a village.
It was a village,
right?
Yeah.
And why did I like the name? I think village evokes like a really, it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy when they changed the name.
Oh, there was.
And like even to this day, Pottstonians were really resistant to it. Yeah.
So is it a county?
Yes,
it's county. Yeah, it's run by the county. Yeah.
Okay,
it's a Montgomery County Housing Authority.
Right.
But it's been really instrumental in when you think village. Everyone that sort of grew up in the village today still have the village mentality.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You could be 60, 70. You see someone that you were raised with, you're shaking hands, you're hugging. It was beautiful for us.
Right.
It still is.
Right. Tight knit, people looking out for each other.
100%.
Right.
And you couldn't mess with anybody from the village either. So
no.
Right.
Everybody was like don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do
You
it.
you never caused any trouble over there because it was not the place to go to cause
You
any
did not
trouble.
go trouble there.
Right.
No.
So was Barth across the street? Is that
Yes,
where you went
yes.
to? Is that where you went to?
I went to
elementary school?
Barth.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, it's
Mhm.
funny. I went to Barth. I went to Rupert. I went to Edgewood.
Yeah.
And I went to Franklin.
Okay.
I never
You
went to Link. I went to all of them.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Come on, Bert. Why are you moving us around like that?
Right.
But it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I had a good
Mhm.
experience at all of them.
Yeah, we loved it. Harrison went to Barth. We loved it.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Yeah.
So
I love Barth.
after your experiences growing up, and then you go to Pottstown High School, you were on the what was it, the '93 team that won the state championship,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So you were part of that
State
experience,
championship. Yes.
and then did you go to college after high school?
I went to
what
Monco
did you?
for about a year and a half, and then I moved to Atlanta.
Okay,
Yeah, to pursue music.
right.
Yeah.
So that's where you get involved in the music industry, is down there in Atlanta. You do
I
that,
did,
get
yeah.
there first, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were down there, and like myself and Myron Brinkley, we were in Atlanta in like 94,
Okay.
95.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, around 95.
And how long do you spend working in the music industry then?
I mean, off and on for years,
Mhm.
man. Just young in Atlanta for a while, just, knocking on doors, chasing down celebrities, trying to chat with everybody that we
Right,
could.
right.
So I think we were down there for like 2.5 years, and we came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're still involved in music at the church you go to.
Sure.
Morning
Sure.
Star
Yeah,
Ministries
yeah.
up
Help
there
lead
in
worship
Bechtelsville.
at Morning Star. Love Morning Star, and used to lead worship at Journey Church, which is a sort of offspring of Morning Star.
Okay.
So I'm sort of back at the mothership.
Okay, right. You got called back.
I called back, right? Went to
Right.
Morningstar years ago.
Mhm.
Our board chair, Holly Makowitz, invited me. I was young. Well, yeah, I think I was still an adult, but I was like, nah, this isn't it. And I was found at Morningstar, and then that was great, really great experience. And then back at Morningstar.
Up in Bechtelsville. That's where I see you sometimes on Sundays.
Yeah.
So what's the pathway from that into what you're currently doing now with Strive Initiative, and why you're on the show tonight? So how do you get from A to B, so to speak?
Well, I would say, so growing up here and wanting to be in the music industry, it was a dream and a passion. And my life and growing up at the Pottstown, at the Ricketts Center, was really, that had a big influence on my life of being with people in the community, when parents not being home or running the streets, that was a safe place.
No, I used to go to
Yeah.
the Ricketts Center on my way home from school
Yeah.
and after school, because my mom worked there for a little while.
Yeah.
And we would go in and see my mom after school and hang out at the social room and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think I had with exception of the fact that I did
Can I
not grow up
interrupt
in
you for a
Penn
second?
Village. Yeah, go ahead.
So on the feed, it still says Enid and Bobby from Pottstown Dragon Warriors join us.
Oh, does it? All
Yeah.
right, I'll get rid of that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Bobby just messaged me.
All right,
I'm
hold
like,
on.
I'm not sure. I'm like, it's clearly Dave in the picture. Sorry.
I don't
Sorry to
know. I
interrupt.
don't know if
No,
this
that's
is going to
okay.
take, but I'll
All right.
fix it.
Sorry. All right. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for tuning in. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, so
Benefits-
where I was at was I grew up in Pottstown too. I did not grow up in Penn Village, but I grew up downtown and spent a lot of time at Gruber Pool, where you spent time as well.
Yes.
Spent a considerable amount of time at the Ricketts Center, hanging out after school. And so I think I have a similar pathway into getting involved because, through Parks and Recreation and the Ricketts Center and all of that stuff, it's how I kind of found my way into social engagement
Mhm.
and community engagement in
Mhm.
Pottstown. So I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just trying to create some simpatico here. So at the Ricketts Center is where you start to really, it comes to start coming to your mind, or maybe your heart, or your heart and your mind.
I mean, just the way, like, being also around adults who looked like me too, that I respected, and just held this esteem of, like, sort of maybe even some of, like, Black excellence,
Right.
or people like, listen, take your hat off. Like, so there was those moments where I felt like we needed to really do the right thing, when we had Clapper there at the Ricketts Center, who was like the mentor of all mentors,
Right.
for us growing
the
up.
bench press team and all of that.
100%. So that had a huge impact in my life. And so it's wanting to do music and my passion and wanting to make it.
And so you're at the Ricketts, and you said, it's important for you to see people that look like you in positions of, like, helping and leading.
Yes.
And you want to make them proud.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
You look up to them and you want to make them proud.
100%.
Yeah.
And you want to make them also not kick you out of the Ricketts Center for doing the
You better
wrong thing.
behave.
Yeah,
You better
yeah.
behave, or
So,
they're going to kick you out.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a similar experience with certain people who will remain nameless at Gruber Pool as well. So
That got kicked out.
yes,
Because they were not behaving.
correct.
Mhm. You can tell me off. You can tell
I'll
me
take
off
a
air.
sip of
Off
that
air.
agua on
You can
that.
tell me. You can tell me who got kicked out.
So you were asking about, like, how did it all, like pursuing music for me, and sort of where we are even with Strive. It's like I wanted to make it, and there was an ultimate goal. Like, I wanted to be successful financially and come back and build a multicultural community center, brand new for the community, like the Ricketts, but like something nice. You know what I mean? Like that was on my heart. I just felt like it was something that really helped a lot of us in our community.
Right. Sure.
Like a safe space. And that sort of was pushing me. I'm like, I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna build something, and young people are gonna have a place to go, and they're gonna feel welcome, and bigger and better than the YMCA.
Gotcha.
Something just
right,
like for the people, all people though. Not how I felt the Y was when I was growing up. Like,
sure.
Gotta have money to go there. You gotta have this. Like,
yeah, like that's
just,
not for me.
Yeah. I was like, nah. Like, growing up at the Ricketts Center, everybody was welcome.
Right.
But I think a lot of people thought, well, only Black people go there. It's like, no, it's really the only place that some of us can afford. Yeah. And feel welcomed.
Well, let's not get it twisted, David. It also was one of the places that we could go.
Right.
Because, when I was growing up, I use the example of North End and Sunnybrook.
Right.
When I was growing up, if you were Black, you couldn't get into North End. You couldn't get into Sunnybrook. I have a story about standing outside the front gate at Sunnybrook with two of my white friends, and the manager came over to us and said, "You two guys can come in if you want, but he can't." So, I mean,
and what year would this have been?
I was about 13 or 14.
So we're talking about
like 80s.
The early to mid 80s.
Yes.
It's not really that
Not
long
long
ago.
ago.
Right?
No.
It's not.
The country club was a place that Blacks or Jews were not welcome.
Not allowed.
So yeah, the Ricketts Center. I want to be on. If we're going to talk, we got to be completely frank and honest.
And there was a lot of Jewish back in the day, Jewish community and people that could go to the Ricketts Center. People told me.
Yeah,
Mr. I think it's Borger, one of my best friends, Debbie Borger. She said, I talked to her dad, and he was like, "No, we were at the Ricketts Center back in the day." And she comes from a Jewish background,
right?
So there was that where it could happen,
and
it was happening at the Ricketts Center at that time,
right?
I mean, I wasn't born or wasn't thought of, but
Right. But my point is, it was a place where you could go and feel comfortable and were welcomed in. I never had an experience at the Ricketts Center the way I did at Sunnybrook, let's say. So there was, there's that.
Right.
So I think, if I remember correctly, and correct my history if I'm wrong, your first foray into this mentoring and stuff was kind of from a musical aspect, right? You were doing some musical mentoring and using music as a way to bring the kids in, right?
Bring the kids in, and we were connecting with other organizations that had students.
Okay.
Right. So the JT Dorsey Foundation, or the Ricketts Center, or Mosaic, or Peak. I mean, we basically partnered with every organization, and we would bring the music program to another organization and sort of do our thing with the students.
Okay.
And that, some of that was also like, being a co-owner of the High Street Music Company with Lewis years ago. And shout out to Lewis, because he also learning from Lewis and learning some things I maybe should have known in business, but didn't.
Right.
It was good because, working with Lewis, I learned a lot, and some of Strive and everything that we had was based off of trying to reduce or free music lessons to students. So some of what I even put together with Strive was things Lewis and I were like thinking through and wanting to provide for this, for Pottstown.
Right.
Then I connected with Anthony Lyon, also another alumni.
Right.
And we were both wanting to do some music, and we were like, last thing we want to do is have two nonprofits doing music. Let's combine.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, what a concept.
Yeah, what a
concept.
What a
concept,
right?
Let's
combine.
We don't talk about this all the time.
It's not about us.
Duplicating efforts.
Right.
Yeah.
You baked a pie instead of fought for a slice.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, and there might be some people that don't know, but let's just say that historically there's always been problems at the middle school, right? And a lot of that has to do, it's not necessarily unique to Pottstown. It's just the fact that when you put that many kids who are transitioning into adulthood together, there's bound to be some problems.
It's a wretched age.
It's a horrible age.
It's a wretched age. It's horrible to be that age.
It is.
It's horrible. Like, it's all this weird hormonal stuff. I'm not a little kid, but I'm not an adult. And I don't know what, I hate myself. I hate the way I look. It's just a lot of stuff going on when you're 12, 13, 14 years old.
Right.
Or 11.
Or 11,
now,
right.
Maybe even younger. I mean,
right. Because you're fifth grade.
Yeah. You're young.
Right.
So you're even in the best of times, kids from the best families, the most well-funded, the most well-supported families are struggling with all of those issues that you just brought up.
Right.
Now throw a little bit of poverty into that mix on top of everything else. Whoa. And now, you've just added another catalyst, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's maybe some food insecurity or just living, being transient, moving around a lot. You said you moved around a lot when you were a kid within Pottstown, but you were moving around.
Absolutely.
You were to all these different schools.
That's it.
Right.
Single parent homes.
Right.
Mom or dad's got to work. Kids at home by themselves.
Yeah, there's no supervision.
There's a lot that goes on.
Right.
In a community that also is sort of underserved or poverty stricken,
Right. So I think that we've brought it up to modern times now. So now most of us know, and we'll say it again here on the show, that Strive Initiative is now involved with youth mentoring inside of the Pottstown Middle School.
Yes.
And this was a way to bring in some additional support so that the school district could deal with some of the historic problems that occurred at the middle school. Trouble on the way to school, trouble coming home from school, trouble in the school, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about the methods that you employ. I think you also are here to make a pitch because we need people to get involved, right?
Oh, yeah, we need people. Yeah.
All right, brother, break them off something.
Well, I mean, when you think about the mentoring program, It's called Created for Greatness. And what we wanted to do is make sure young people knew that they are created for greatness, right? What's inside of you, the spark that's in us all is beautiful. And to find out, your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing, or being on a trajectory of being positive can impact the community. So we started Created for Greatness, reached out to Mr. Stephen Rodriguez about what a lot of people were talking about, saying the students, wouldn't amount to anything. And I'm like, nah, I took that personal.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that when I'm a Pottstown grad and went to the middle school. And I'm like, no, let's what about some solutions from the community?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let's pull in some people that got some negative things to say. Don't be on social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? Being finger gangsters or talking, whatever. It's like, no,
I've never heard that
get involved.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
And be a part of the solution. So we talked about that, Stephen and I, and we started to work together. I did some assemblies, building trust, learning to respect yourself and others, and told the students that I'd be there to connect with them and bring in the community. And it took a year and 3 months of connecting with students in the cafeteria.
All right. So talk about that. So I think you start out doing these assemblies, and there's hundreds of kids during the course of these assemblies. So this is you're just generally speaking to them, hoping that you're going to grab a couple of ears, and really you're getting something started. You're putting some energy and into this initiative. You're trying to write some checks so that your ass will catch them, right?
Well, and I think that being a Pottstown, having gone through the Pottstown school district system,
right,
makes you legit. Like, hey, listen, I did this. I was right where you were.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
not an outsider coming in and
point,
talking.
Amy, when I did the assemblies, first picture was the village.
Talking about where you came from.
Right.
Kids are like, I live there. I'm like, me too.
Right.
One of the I put,
so now they're automatically like, right, this guy's walking the walk.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Showed different pictures, my friends who had just so much impact in my life, So here's what I'm gonna tell you though.
Yeah.
The assemblies were supposed to be 35 minutes. I started at 8. Brian Hostetler, the prior principal, was like, it was 5 of 10. He was like,
wrapping it up.
Dave,
you
got 5 minutes.
Yeah,
we was like,
wrapping it up.
We got math.
I could not.
Yeah.
Listen.
We got American history. We got to learn.
Right. Out.
Yeah. Right.
Because to be honest, that was my moment to share with them my life.
Yeah.
My mom.
You're changing. You're changing
dad,
too.
Mental illness. Yeah. Everything. I laid it down, tried to be as appropriate as possible. And I did.
Right.
But I got personal.
Yeah.
And I know 90% of the students were on the edge of their chair.
Right.
Because I rapped about education. I rapped about, lots of different things. So I didn't realize I went 2 hours.
Sure.
I mean, some kids missed lunch.
Right.
I was like,
way to go, Dave.
I was like, oh,
they're starving, right?
I gotta tell you.
Yeah. But you needed to do that so that they could connect with you and understand where you were coming from, and that you were, there was probably a lot of things in your story that a lot of the kids could relate to. Like, oh wait, that sounds like me.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds like me.
Yes.
That's what I'm dealing with.
You're not a stranger.
Right.
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 So, but it also was letting them know that I'll be in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
And consistent 3 days a week in the lunchroom, talking to every student. How you doing? What's going on? Like your hair? Yeah. Genuine conversation.
Yes.
And the magic is in the lunchroom for mentors and people to come in, because that's just a time you can like connect with them and really just be yourself. Bring some cards in, talk to them. Just how you doing? How was your weekend? What's going on? It's like I built so many relationships with the students, and I was consistent. And then we started bringing in mentors, Miss Laura Johnson, and I mean, the rest has been like history.
So with the program, are the kids paired up 1-to-1? How does it work?
They are.
How does it work?
So kids are, we have a few ways to connect. Kids are paired up with mentors.
How are the kids identified? Are they self-identified? I would like to be part of this program, or did the teachers say, I think that maybe this student could benefit from something like this?
I would say both.
Okay.
In the beginning, it is a teacher, a guidance, or administration, or a parent saying, I think my child needs, a little more support, someone that they can connect with, needs to feel a little more welcome, whatever it is. And then we give the student a survey, interest survey. And we also do that with the mentors. It's a volunteer application, but we ask some deep, intense questions. Why you want to do it? What struggles did you overcome? References. I mean, what do you want the student to know about you? I mean, we go deep.
Okay.
Who's your role model?
Sure.
All those things. So we can, it's vetting mentors as well. Of
course. Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah. And then there's like a standard background check, like process,
background check,
all that fingerprinting, like
everything.
Make sure that there's,
and an interview with me.
Which might be the most difficult part of the process.
I got to look you in the eyes and know you want to do this. Because if you don't, and you play around.
Well, and you got to show up. Like, right, you got to be consistent. That's like the number one, right? You got to show up. Like, you can't be a mentor to a kid and bail out.
It's the worst thing you can do. So in our community, in our district, it is the worst thing you can do. Right. Some of the students are already dealing with that.
Exactly.
From people who are really close to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So one-to-one mentoring.
Yes.
7:50 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Morning mentoring block was written in the school district plan. I think there's a plan. So we were sort of written in that for this mentoring.
Right.
So there's a mentor block where they do some SEL, some other different things in the morning.
SEL? What is that?
Social emotional learning.
Okay.
So different things about students and emotionally and sort of checking in, who they are, where they are, ways to sort of cope with life. And it's like a reset. That morning time is a reset for homeroom teachers and students and mentors.
Okay.
Then we also have the lunchtime, 11:46 in the morning, 5th grade lunch to 8th grade lunch. We have mentors come in and connect with students as well. So depending on who you're matched with, you'll come in for that block.
Right.
And the blocks are 30 to 35 minutes once a week.
Okay.
We have mentors come in, and we ask mentors to bring in lunch twice a month, that they would bring in a shared lunch.
Okay.
Because we ask the mentees, what do you like to eat? What do you like to eat? What are your favorite restaurants? Breaking bread with a student is crucial.
Yeah.
It's a conversation starter. It disconnects the barrier. It shows them when you show up, you're going to bring that meal.
I'm going to
ask for something,
and I'm going to come through
like
for you.
Food is a way to connect.
Right.
So we also have some mentors that have been in the classrooms with the teachers, supporting some of the teachers. Maybe a few students need to be redirected. Maybe they need some extra support. Maybe they're taking a test, whatever it may be. So there's a few ways. Those are the ways: morning, lunch, and we've had some mentors go into the classroom.
Interesting.
So for support as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So the commitment for the mentor is once a week at lunch, or breakfast, or that early morning, or
it's either or.
Either or.
It could be the morning slot, or it could be the lunch.
Gotcha.
And the commitment we ask, it's a year.
Right.
at least.
Right. And so you've got the morning block you said was 7:40,
7:50 a.m.
7:50
to
8:30.
8:30.
So depending on where you work and when you work, you could like do
It can
that
work.
before you go to work. Right.
And here's
you know.
what we found. Because we're doing what we're doing, employers are allowing
Sure.
some
Right. So I know normally you clock in at 9, but because you're doing this, you can clock in at 9:30. That's totally fine.
go do your thing.
Do your thing. That's great.
We
That'd be
want
great to-
you
Right.
in the community. It's
Right.
important
Right.
that you're doing what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I absolutely. If one of my staff came to me and said, I would like to be in this program, but it means that I'm going to have to be, half an hour late once a week. I'd be like, all right, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. We'll work
Yeah.
around it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep.
It's really fantastic. How many mentors and matched up kids do you have at the middle school?
Right now we have 15 and we have about 12 to 13 mentors in the queue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's a process,
Okay.
right?
Before because you got to vet them out and then and then match them up. You want to make sure that you're matching up the right mentor with the right kid.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes it's not the right match, right?
I've only had one situation where we just had a mentor that I think was sort of wanting to do some other things with the student with like financial literacy, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to show up and get to know a student. This is
before you start like cramming a bunch of stuff, right?
You got to come to listen.
Right.
It's an adult friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That there, we have students fill out an orientation contract, so they know this is not an ATM. This is not, it's an adult friend.
And this isn't just a way for you to like get out of, well, they're not missing any classes, right?
They're not missing classes.
They're not missing classes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Wangia, the new principal at the Pottstown Middle School, definitely not having missing classes right now.
No. And he was on the show. So if people want to see what Dr. Wangia is all about and also learn about the new house model for the middle school, you could go back to our YouTube channel, Porchcast Pottstown.
Where was I?
You were away. Yeah, you were. I think you were in Scotland.
Oh, okay. So it was just
and it was me and Matt Moyer.
Okay.
Right. Yep. So if you want, or I
should say,
stroke.
I was
Matt
like, wait,
Moyer. Matt Moyer and I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Matt Moyer and I interviewed him. People can go back to YouTube and see that past episode with Dr. Wangia. There's a lot of people watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
If you have questions for Dave, please let us know. If you have any questions about anything that you want to talk about, we can try to get those questions answered or address any issues that you might have. This is an interactive show.
Interactive.
Yes.
Yep. So bring it on. Dave is here tonight partially because he needs more people involved. And we like to throw challenges out to our viewership, our Porchtownians, because they consistently and historically step up to the plate when challenged.
Yeah.
So we're asking people, if you are so inclined, to contact Dave and tell him that you would like to be a mentor.
Yes.
Go to the middle school for a visit, look around, see the lay of the land, and make a decision as to whether or not this is right for you. And Dave can guide you in that decision-making process.
100%.
So Gypsy Chris is asking, do more girls or boys need and ask for mentors? Or
do more girls or boys? I don't think there's an either or. I think right now, from my relationship with most of the students, I mean, most all students right now in the middle school, there's want a mentor.
Right.
They want that connection. Wow. They want that one-on-one, some accountability. They're craving for that.
Right.
Like,
and they might not know that they are,
yes.
Right? But it's like a baby. Like a baby needs consistency and you gotta like routine, and they really respond to it. And they certainly, babies and toddlers don't know that they do.
Yes,
but they do.
Yes.
They need to have that consistency.
Yes.
They're gonna have their lunch every day at 12:30, and they're gonna take their nap every day at 1:30. Like that's it. So they might not even know what they want or what they need.
They don't. And we did survey students a few years ago, that students that are now in the high school, And it's I think this last graduating class is all the students that are in the high school now. I was with those students
when they were in the middle
when
school.
they're in the middle school. So we surveyed those students about career interest, hobbies, role models, who's their role model or someone they admire, something they want to improve in. I mean, students at the Pottstown High School, they have big dreams, like huge dreams. They're very aware academically. I mean, when we surveyed these students, they were like 58% were like, we want to get better at academics.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, like it was like math and ELA. And I'm like, with tears in my eyes, I'm like looking at this data that our board, that we analyze. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Right.
STEM, like 34% said STEM, because we analyze it all and put it in buckets. I mean, the arts, law, law enforcement, just trades, all types of things.
Wow.
Like students, and there was not the percentage of students who were thinking about being an MBA at this time was definitely lower than I thought.
Okay.
And
Right,
I think teachers have done a great job with explaining, like, don't want to crush your dream, but it's not easy.
Yeah,
to get to
it's
MBA.
1% of
work ethic
1%.
now
Yeah.
is really a part of what's going to get you there. So what are you doing now? So I think I did talk to teachers that were like, we've done a good job with kind of explaining the MBA and the chances, but it's not impossible. So this data revealed things that I'm like excited to even have, your son being a part. I shared some of that with the group of students that we want to reveal this back to the
report back to them what their survey found.
But where are you now post COVID, and how do we help you help yourself and
Kinda
bring
get
a
back on track.
community of adults around you, tutors, alumni, businesses for apprenticeship or internship, all types of things based on data that students write out, not bubbles.
Anyway, it's not fit. Check the ones that apply to you. It is open-ended.
It is open-ended. And that we need to give Pottstown students that type of voice.
I think that's really interesting for the community to hear how because the Pottstown School District gets such a bad rap in the surrounding area, and these kids are up against a lot. They're constantly swimming upstream. They're up against a lot, and I think that's really it's really nice to hear that these kids are thinking about this.
They are
thinking about these things. I want to learn. I want to get better at math. I want more opportunity for STEM. I wanted, it's not just like, I want to be famous. I want to be an actress. I want to be, it's like real stuff.
It's real stuff.
Right. It's real stuff.
Real things, real careers. Like it's amazing.
So we have a question on the board, and I think it's gonna kind of segue very nicely into one of the statements and one of the next questions that I have. And again, it's Gypsy Chris saying, how many mentors would David like to see ideally? And I would say this, what I'm hearing is, in a perfect world, every kid would have one. Every
single kid, 1-to-1.
What I'm hearing is, though, if you're considering this, is that I'm hearing that there's a need for mentors from every walk of life. You don't have to have the most successful contracting business in Pottstown in order to become a mentor. They need people from every walk of life, all different kinds of experiences, all different kinds of backgrounds, because that's where the kids are at, right? You have this spectrum of kids. Well, you're going to need a spectrum of mentees or mentors, to talk to them. So let's get to that question. How many mentors would you like to see ideally?
Ideally?
Yeah.
So ideally, I would like to see 100 mentors
Mm-hmm.
in this program.
Okay.
Right.
And I
Right,
know
Porchtonians, make it
Yeah,
happen.
step up to the plate.
Step up.
100 mentors in this program because just having a open conversation with Dr. Wangia about, when you think about the population, it's 1,000 students
Okay.
around.
Mhm.
So 100 mentors connecting with 100 students is 10%,
Yep.
right? And I think that's a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully 100 teachers connecting with a student
Mm-hmm.
that maybe could be a little challenging. That could be 20%. That's a shift in the school.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of came from Dr. Wangia. So for me, my goal is 100 mentors,
Right.
strong, like committed,
Mm-hmm.
showing up there, also
Walking around.
diverse.
Yeah, right.
It's like 60% minority, students of color. So we want mentor. We want to bring that in as well.
Right.
We want to do that. So hold up. We need more black men campaign.
Yeah. So yeah,
we need more black women campaign.
Dave,
Listen, we
Dave
also
and I
need.
were
I can't
talking
help you
about
on
that.
either one
That's
of
all-
those,
no,
but
no,
I will support you.
No. I'm not saying that's the only.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But we need it.
Right. Well,
And-
and like you said, you went to the Ricketts, and there were people that looked like you, and that was important to you. It was important to you to have somebody that looked like you, that you could look up to, that you respected, that taught you, how to be a good person, a good citizen. Like
100%.
Right.
I'll give this. There's a program. There's something starting right now. It's also a mentoring program. They're going to be coming in monthly. It's called the Guide Right program, and it's somewhat some of the members are from the Kappa fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One is a lieutenant, a trooper,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there is a female trooper as well. But they have a team. They came in on Wednesday. All of color, black excellence. When I tell you, in that room of 12 students at the middle school, it was powerful.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to be in that room.
Right.
I needed to be in that room.
Right.
So these types of programs, even with, as many minorities as possible, showing what they are, who they do. I mean, what they do in life,
Mhm.
their experience, their success. It doesn't just raise the consciousness of the students of color. It raises the consciousness of all the students,
every student,
and every teacher,
right,
to see minorities
interacting in the community. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
that are excellent.
right. Yep.
It raises that, like, excuse me, I saw Mr. Let's go.
Right.
I
right.
know it's possible.
right,
Yeah.
He's not a basketball player.
right,
He's an engineer.
yeah,
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah.
you
Those
know?
role models.
You need it. And you need teachers to feel that,
Mhm.
that they can reference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Lieutenant Slayton,
Mm-hmm.
right? Did you hear his story? Like, that's what you can do this.
You can do this.
You can do
Right.
this.
right.
You know?
And for a kid, sometimes it just takes one.
It just takes one.
person. It takes one person. It takes one teacher. It takes one adult. It takes a friend, whatever.
One
A
mentor.
librarian, a teacher, a bus driver, whoever it is, to say, "Hey, I think you can do this. I think you'd be really good at this." Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
And, I mean, one mentor
To
can
give a kid.
change your
Yeah.
life. Myron Brinkley was my mentor from 13 to 20.
Wow.
I mean, and I was an adult, but
Right.
changed my life. At 13, I was probably on my way to juvie or something.
Mhm.
I could have gotten in trouble. And I went.
Well,
and
let's be
connected
real.
with
Some of the
Myron.
guys that you were friends with did
Yeah, they did. They
unfortunately find their way into this. And some of the guys that we grew up with aren't here anymore because they went down the right path, didn't go down the right path.
Mentorship.
So
Right.
Mr. Brinkley, you said?
Myron Brinkley.
And so was he somebody at the Ricketts, or how did
Oh,
you?
I went
how'd
and
you-
met Myron. Now I knew Myron because our families know each other, but I was a dancer. Wanted to dance for the best rapper in town. Here we go. Me and Ernestine Clemens, one of my closest friends when we were young, we went to the Ricketts Center. Myron was in the Ricketts Center in the rec room reading the Bible. We were like, Myron, we want to dance for you. He was like, all right. Meet me at my house on Monday. I want you to audition. Met him at his house. We auditioned. The rest was history. I didn't leave Myron's side till I was 20, till I moved to LA. And he was my brother. I mean, still is my brother, my mentor. I mean, just my right hand. I was at his mom's all the time, close to his sisters, his brother. I mean, they took me in. His mom, bless her soul, just, loved on me. And even when she probably didn't want me there.
Right.
Because I was there all the time. Myron's like, no, he needs to be with me.
Right.
And I'm telling it changed everything in my life.
Right.
So you never know, even someone's family is important to a mentee.
Sure.
Right. There's some more questions coming in, and I do want to get to some of this stuff because these are ways that people can feel like they're involved and get involved. So there's a bunch of people, and we do appreciate the questions and the comments. Joe Rusevich from the Foundation for Pottstown Education was asking about whether or not you're going to publish the results of the survey. You are working on getting them out by having the students report basically back to the student body about what the results of the survey are, right?
Yeah.
And you're working on a project that's going to do that.
We're all working on a project with that. I'm talking to the principal at the high school right now, the new principal, Dr. Annabelle, about sort of the new survey and wanting to do some things with the old results of the survey. So yeah, we will do that.
Joe says, sorry, I'm late, especially now that I see Mr. Charles is on, one of my favorite people.
And Joe, one of my favorite people as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate the foundation. Joe is a just champion for our community, and the foundation has been a foundation for me. Being on the board of the Foundation for Pottstown Education, I probably wouldn't be sitting in this chair because being able to be on the board with Stephen, being able to be on the board with Mrs. McCoy, being able to be on the board with many people in the community, I learned. I wasn't there for my own situation. I was there because Jim Corum said, you need to be more involved in education.
Right.
I had to make a choice and serve, and I learned. But the foundation, what they do is, I'm just, honored to have the mentorship from Joe, and I just, I love what they do. I love being in the school and representing education.
Yeah. And Joe's also saying that if you can get him the information about needing these volunteers to become mentors, that he's going to help post that on the website and also on social media so that you can get the campaign going so that you can get to 100 mentors.
That's great. And I would say another thing that we need, I know what we do with mentorship, but my role also in the middle school is also culture. It's like, I asked a student, I said, what do you think I do here? She said, make us feel welcome and cared about. And I do. I mean, that's what we try to do.
Right.
The Pride program after school, we need more parents to know about Pride.
Right.
And to sign their child up for Pride.
So we talked about Pride. We had Heather on, and Pride is what used to be the 21st century,
right?
And which my kid participated in. math kids participated in, a
Yes.
lot of kids, and it's there. It's available for everybody, and
free.
it's free.
Free snack.
It's free.
Yes.
It's enrichment.
Yes.
It's tutoring.
It's tutoring.
It's and you can actually have transportation.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's free. So it's,
Wow.
if you go,
But did they get a grant or something? Because like
yes, they
transportation
have a
would be
grant.
really expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say
That's fantastic.
we need
right.
500
Right.
students
Well,
plus
and-
in the Pride program.
And that those hours of, what does school let out? 3:00 to when parents get home. Those are the danger hours.
They are.
They are.
Those
They
are
are.
the danger hours for 12, 13, and 14-year-old
Absolutely.
kids. There's a lot of things that can happen
Yeah.
in those hours.
And there's a lot that it does happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It does.
And so sign your kid up. There's enrichment, there's tutoring, can they just go and hang out? Like,
I mean, I think
It's
some
all
of the
structured.
I mean,
structured.
there's some
Structured,
things,
right? Right.
But it's important. Pride, you can sign up on Facebook. They have a page. You could probably go on to the district website.
Yeah.
You put it in.
I just put up a link
Crucial.
to Pottstown
Yeah.
Pride.
Yeah.
Crucial. When you got transportation.
Yeah.
And you can stay after, and you
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crucial.
That's great.
And
That's really significant.
yeah, it's really great. And we're actually starting a podcast program for students at the Pottstown Middle School.
Fun. That's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
That's
and a
great.
music studio.
Yeah. That's really like for sound recording and
Sound
like that kind of
recording,
stuff, right? So you get kids interested in that, and then they could go into the high school, and then they could do the music program
They
at
can help out. They can help out.
at Montco,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
Lewis is, right?
Everything that we're doing with Strive is pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's like what I also want.
This is
people
not
to,
just like a 3-month
No,
thing and then
no,
you're done. This is
no.
like, and it doesn't mean that if you're involved in music recording that's what you have to do for your
No.
career, but just to do it and to learn a skill and to be interested in, and then you can parlay that into something
Other
else.
things.
And-
Well, did you think when you became the office manager at Wolf Baldwin Associates, right? And you're
Mhm.
running a law firm.
Mhm.
Did you ever think that you were going to be a podcaster and that was going to play a role
No, I
in
never
your
even
profession?
really thought that I was going to be an office manager at a law office.
Right,
This is
right.
definitely not my
So-
dream job.
so
I
you
just
never-
put it out there,
Right. And I would say the
Yeah.
same thing. When I decided
Yeah.
to leave my career in law enforcement
Mhm.
and get involved in real estate, if you would have told me, oh, well, you're going to have this
No.
live
No.
podcast that's going to reach, a couple people
right?
on a weekly basis, I'd have told you, what are you talking
Yeah,
about? I don't even know
what?
what you're talking
Yeah.
about. But here we are, right?
Right.
I think
Now,
that
I will say though that it was always like my dream to be on TV, and I think this is probably about as close as I'm going to get.
it's pretty close because people do put us on TV.
Yes, so it is kind of fulfilling a childhood dream of mine.
Right.
Yeah,
So I would say this too, that the podcast, once it gets up and running at the high school, it's also going to give those kids a opportunity to control the narrative about themselves
Yeah.
and about their school.
yes,
I mean, obviously
Yeah.
that's why we started Porchcast
Right.
Pottstown, so that we can control the narrative about what's being said on social media about Pottstown.
we wanted to
That's
put
important.
we wanted to put some positive content out
or,
there,
or at
about
least if we
Pottstown.
were going to complain, we were going to do it in a constructive manner,
Right.
right? So I think that's going to give the kids that same ability
Thanks,
to
Jeanette.
overcome some of the negativity and to show people what Pottstown's really all about. Not what
Absolutely.
you read in the sensationalized headlines or not all the trolling that goes on social media. This is what really goes on in Pottstown School District, and this is what really goes on with the kids. And to best of my knowledge, there aren't any other high schools in this area that are doing anything like that. So
We're at the middle school.
at the middle school,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no,
But the high
but-
school kids are going to be the ones
Oh
that
yeah,
are
they're gonna be
kind of the
they-
leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um
Which
there's
we hope to we'll have to transition that
right.
because we got 8th graders, 7th graders. Once they get into the program, it's something that continuity
they can-
of
Yeah, you wanna
continuation.
continue it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
it's almost like the military operates on that same model. The class in front trains the class behind.
Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is the Pottstown School District is going to be in this area, maybe the only school district that has a program like
Right.
this. So
Right.
just the fact that it's being created and it's going to come to fruition will put Pottstown on the map
Which
again.
another
for-
reason for to be like, hey, listen, look at what they're doing in Pottstown.
Right. My kid goes to L&J. He doesn't have the opportunity to get involved in
Mhm.
a podcast.
Well, that's what you get for being a fiver.
That's right. I'm not
Just
picking on
saying.
L&J.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So this really is a
And
unique opportunity.
And I do have a lot of people contact me about their school districts and, hey, would you do this? I'm like, no.
Yeah, my focus is in
My
Pottstown.
focus
Yep.
is here.
Yes.
It is nowhere else.
Yeah. Those
You
districts
can't
need
wait.
to find their own David Charles.
Listen, I
right?
I love people, but this is the district that my heart is totally set on.
Sure.
And I don't care what money's flash in my face. It doesn't matter because I'm focused. You know, Anthony Lyon, also co-founder of Strive, is getting back involved with Strive, and we're focused. You know, we're going to be focused on expression and mentorship and accountability, and we're having a great time. Also, I want to plug too.
Sure.
Because mentorship in our district is it's in the air. So you got Web, where everybody belongs, where 8th grade students mentor 5th grade students coming in. So the 7th grade students are going to be coming up to be Web leaders. Fabulous program, allows students, the 5th graders, to feel comfortable. But again, mentorship, it's in the air for older students, connecting with younger, really being
That's
in their
great
lives.
too, because then it makes, the 5th graders, they're anxious and nervous about going into a school with kids that the difference between 5th and 8th grade is a lot different than the difference between 9th and 12th, right?
100%.
You got like 5th grade, they're still little kids.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard.
So if they can come into the school and feel like the 8th graders are kind of looking out for them, then that's really makes them feel safe and comfortable.
And they do. The Web leaders that are students do a fantastic job, and the staff that run where everybody belongs, committed,
right,
on it, like young leaders.
I believe it.
It's important.
Yeah,
I mean, mentorship in our community is important. Like, it saved my life, and I'm seeing it every day in that middle school.
There you go.
And there are a lot of other programs too. I know like the First Presbyterian Church has people that go over to Barth.
Oh man, amazing.
And there's the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So there's a lot of other stuff that's happening as well.
Yeah, I think, what is the one behind something walls, beyond 4 walls?
That's a Big Brothers Big Sisters program.
That is. Scott Bentley has that. I think it's every other week, where the students, some of the middle school students, also go down to Video Ray to meet with their big and stuff.
I did that.
Okay.
And got interrupted by COVID. It was really hard to carry that on during COVID, because we were remote, and it was difficult. It was difficult. And it was a challenge for me. It was a challenge for me with my little sister, connecting. It was really hard to connect in person. And then when we went to online, it was just
even more difficult.
So
we have a bunch of people watching. I do want to give some shout outs and stuff. I want to give information. So we've been talking to Dave Charles from Strive Initiative. Also, for people who are listening and aren't seeing on the screen, I want to get this information out. Dave Charles is the executive director of Strive Initiative, which is a youth mentoring program, both before and during school at the Pottstown Middle School, ages 5th through 8th grade. Dave is in need of mentors from all walks of life to come into the middle school and connect with these kids and help them give them some guidance, give them some structure, and most importantly, give them some adult consistency. Interaction with an adult on a consistent basis at school.
Yes.
If you'd like to get involved, contact Dave, info@striveinitiative.org. Info@striveinitiative.org. I also put up a link to the Strive Initiative website. I put up links to the school district. I put up links to Pottstown Pride. If you click on any one of these links, you will be able to eventually find your way to Dave. But the quickest and easiest way, info@striveinitiative.org. Set up a meeting with Dave. Come and see the school. Come and see what he's all about. See if it's right for you. And then get involved. Join in. There's probably a way for you to help.
Right.
I mean, there's also, even with the district, there's jobs, there's a lot of different things that are there with the district. And the thing about education for me, I realize I'm on a global network called Go Noodle, which is a fitness and brain break website.
Mm-hmm.
And I partnered with a guy, Aaron Christ, who had a company, Fresh Start Fitness. We used to do fitness concerts all up and down the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Texas, and I had this epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I walk in a room, kids are like, oh my God, or they're just so excited about us being there in the gym. I mean, yelling, oh, it's Fresh Start. I thought to myself, wow. I went in the classroom. I said, you know what? You're only going to see me one time, maybe two, if your school hires us again in your life. But your teacher you have for a year or more. The hero is your teacher.
Yeah, right.
And I get it. But Go Noodle was created to support teachers and students for brain breaks. Put your pencils down. We're going to do something, get you moving, get you back into education. And so I basically had to explain that to third graders. I'm like sitting on the floor like, I get it, but your teacher, you can get way more out of what you need by that connection.
I know it's exciting because I'm a new guy.
But I'm telling you, you're not going to see me again. My afro's only going to come up on Go Noodle. It's over. But Miss Brown,
she's here day in, day out.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That epiphany, I was like, young people have the wrong idea of hero a little bit. It's like, if you can connect to that teacher or those people that you're with for years, man, it's a networking thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell students, you better be here to network.
Right,
school.
right.
Network with your teachers, network with your administration, do the right thing. Put them on your Rolodex.
Right.
Because they know a lot of people.
And then you have to explain what a Rolodex is.
And I do.
So
so that really got me into like, I just want to support students and teachers.
There you go.
Teachers should make just as much as doctors.
For sure.
No, for sure. Yeah.
They're with students for 30 to 40 years. Come on. Right. What are we doing? We got our priorities.
We have it all mixed up. So anyway, we're coming down to the bottom of the show, Dave.
Oh my
You've given out a lot of information.
I did.
If people want to connect with Dave again, it's info@striveinitiative.org. You can go to the website, which is www.striveinitiative.org. striveinitiative.org. info@striveinitiative.org is the email. info@striveinitiative.org. All right, Amy.
All
I
right.
think you have a little bit
I
of
have a
news.
little
Let's
bit of
tackle
news.
some news
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we do still have people watching.
So it is cold out there, and there are a lot of places that are having winter coat drives and winter essentials drives. So if you have some winter coats or hats or mittens or any of that stuff, there are several happening. There is the Pottstown High School Interact Club is sponsoring their winter coat drive between November 29th and December 15th. Drop-off location, all Pottstown school districts. D Brothers at pottstown12k.org. So if you have a new clean winter coat, you can drop off at any of the schools. The Pottstown Women in NAACP, local NAACP chapter, in partnership with Mission First, is also having a winter essentials drive the whole month of December. Drop off Monday, Wednesday, or Friday between 12 and noon at 414 High Street. New or gently used, and when they're gently used, please make sure they're clean. Hats, scarves, gloves, socks, and coats. So that is Mission First at 414 High Street. Folks, I got a flu shot today and my 5th COVID shot. My arm is very sore. But just a reminder, very early flu season, get your flu shot, and make sure that you're up to date on all your COVID stuff, because there's still some stuff floating around as we're getting to the holiday season. Clothing and household goods. This is at Alt House Arboretum, Saturday, December 3rd from 9 to 1. So they are also collecting lightly used clothing, shoes, and household goods to help local charities while supporting Green Allies and the Alt House Arboretum. I'm going to put my papers over here because my arm is way too sore. Our Alt House Arboretum is also having their Winter Fest, December 14, 15, and 16, between 6 and 7:30. Join us to celebrate our 3rd annual food drive with a short holiday drive-through with holiday light displays and games to play from your car. That sounds fun. You don't even have to go out in the cold. So that is Alt House Arboretum. They also have a gift shop up there. I'm not sure when it's open, but it's like a sustainable gifts and eco gifts. So check that out. It's really.
I just went to their Facebook page,
Mhm.
and literally that's the first post on their Facebook page. I did put a link. I'm putting a link to all of these organizations that you mentioned in the comments so people can find out more about what's going on.
Great. Pottstown Children's Discovery Center, my big ideas. This is on New Year's Eve. Sorry, I'm out of order with my dates. So between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. on New Year's Eve, Children's Discovery Center is having a program. We'll talk more about that later as we get closer to it. Pottsgrove Manor has their 12th night tours during their regular museum hours. And they also have something coming up. I don't know where it is.
It's Candlelight Christmas tour.
Yeah, the Frost Fair.
Okay.
Hold on, here it is. 18th Century Frost Fair at Pottsgrove Manor. That's Sunday, December 11th, from 11 to 5. I've never been to that. Maybe I'll be able to go this year.
To the Frost Fair?
To the Frost Fair. Yeah.
You've been to Pottsgrove Manor.
I've been to Pottsgrove Manor. Yes. Right. It's so great. It's like such a great. It's such a great.
You freaked me out for a second.
No,
I was
I've been
like,
to
what?
Pottsgrove Manor. We went to a dinner there. They did like this colonial dinner. It was really cool. Yeah. It's such a neat. It's really well maintained and well run. Tomorrow, December 2nd at Rivet, local artist gallery opening reception. So they're going to be announce the opening of our new local artist gallery located inside of the event venue. So that is free. And it is from 7 to 10 tomorrow. And I think they have a DJ, and there's a bunch of local artists showing.
Did you say free?
Free. I did say free. And I really can't shut up about Rivet. I love that place.
Yeah, you like it a lot.
I love it. I just think it's such a cool place. And they have like great bands and music that comes. It's such a great spot. Harry Dean, I think, is awesome. He just opened his new space downstairs last night, which is available for private parties. I just think he's a cool guy, and I think it's a really cool space. And we've got live music in Pottstown, and like, hooray. Local artist gallery. So this is another way that I think he's really cool. He's doing a little gallery for local artists. Awesome. Big weekend here in Pottstown, folks. Saturday, December 3rd is Christmas Bazaar at St. Paul's UCC. That's 927 North Franklin. So that's from 9 to 2 on Saturday. Also on Saturday, spaghetti dinner at First Presbyterian Church. This is Cub Scout Pack 146. So after your like busy day of doing all of your holiday stuff, you can go get a spaghetti dinner. $10 for adults, $8 for kids. And also on the 3rd is a Van Gogh Secret Studio. That is where kids can go to Art Fusion. That's the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th from 11 to 2. And the kids can go and make little crafts or buy things for their family as holiday gifts. Sunday. So lots happening on Sunday. Paid's I Pick Pottstown holiday activities were moved. They were going to be on Saturday. They got moved to Sunday because it's supposed to pour down rain. So, of course, the most important thing that you should do on Sunday is go on the Pottstown Go Forth Historic Pottstown Holiday House Tour. I'm just going to say that because it's our show and I could say whatever I want. So the house tour is from 1 to 5. This is a fundraiser for your Pottstown 4th of July activities. There are 9 beautiful houses on the tour this year, all in the East End and Rosedale. There are some real beauts. There's this glass house at the end of Rosedale Drive. It is unbelievable. Do you know that house?
Yeah, I've been back there.
Crazy.
Normally that's a private drive, so you don't necessarily get to back there.
Right. Yeah,
I was back there when I was a police officer.
So it's just dead end back there. So crazy.
Can I throw something else out too? Because it's my show and I can say what I want. If you're out riding around in Rosedale, please take a drive by 12 Park Court. It's a new.
That's right around the corner from. So our tour is starting at St. James Lutheran Church, which is on high between Cedar and Price. I think it's between Price and Cedar. And Park Court is just like right back in that area.
It is. Yep. It's right by where Dave lives too. Yep. So while you're out checking out the house tour, and I think Mosaic's doing Christmas lights tour.
Are they? I think
I might
have them in my stack.
That's this weekend too. I think they're even the same day. But anyway,
so much happening. Yeah.
Stop by 12 Park Court. Just drive by, take a look at it. It's a brand new rehabbed house.
Yep.
It's currently active.
Such a cute little
active
circle.
Listing.
That's where the Armados live, right? In that
Correct.
Circle? Yeah.
Yep.
Very
Great
nice.
little neighborhood. Yep.
So the house tour, we do have a shuttle, which will take you around to all the different properties sponsored by Tompkins Bank. Thank you very much. And Part. So again, that is fundraiser for your 4th of July festivities. Also on December 4th is Breakfast with Santa. So that is at 10 a.m. Until noon. And that is, you get a picture with Santa included with your meal. That is sponsored by Soul Joel's at Sunnybrook. So the Pottstown, I Pick Pottstown stuff is all day from 11 to 6.
Yeah, it's a full day of activity.
They've got Santa Claus coming across the river on the dragon boat. So we talked about dragon boats the last time we had the show. And so you can see the dragon boat in action, bring Santa across the river. And then the Schuylkill River Greenways will be open for tours. And I think, is the Challenger Center also open?
I thought there was something with the challenge,
but I don't see it on this list.
And they're handing out cookies and hot chocolate.
There's self-guided scavenger hunt and steps challenge sponsored by the hospital. That's at College Drive, Hanover and High Street. I guess that starts at College Drive.
And almost all of that stuff is free too.
The alley, they've got hot chocolate and beverages. And then there's caroling at 6 o'clock by Pottstown students and Pottstown senior volunteers. Holiday planter competition winners announced. Hopefully Go Forth wins a prize. And tree lighting.
And let me tell you, if I catch somebody downtown touching that stuff and breaking that stuff, I'm going to break your leg. So don't mess with this.
Do you know how hard we worked on our tree?
Don't let Matt Green catch you down there messing around.
Yeah. We worked really hard on our tree. What do they say? F around and find out, right?
Right. I will get gritty.
Get gritty over there. Professional Pharmacy is having a local vendor event December 10th. That's from 10 to 3 at Professional Pharmacy. So here at the Mosaic Pottstown annual Pottstown decorating contest. So if you want to decorate your porch or your yard, they're having this contest. And fivers can participate. We did.
Yes, we did find that out.
We did find out about that. There's 5 categories: best door, best porch, best Griswold, which I think means like a lot of lights, People's Choice, and themed or oldie world determines winner. Winners are determined by the most likes on Facebook. So I think that Mosaic will take pictures of all the properties, put them up on Facebook, and then whoever has the most likes wins. COVID-19 and flu vaccine. This is at Giant Pharmacy, December 13th. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's at St. Al's, sponsored by Giant Pharmacy. So they're doing the actual shots. That's between 4 and 7. I don't know if you have to sign up.
In the greater Nohano.
This is a Aclamo. Yeah, I don't know if this is a sign up or if you just show up.
So you know what I'm going to do, Amy?
What? You're going to
I'm going to put a link. I'm putting a link in the chat, and anybody that wants to find out about it can click on St. Al's Facebook page.
Holiday painting with Susie Gam. This is at the library.
Oh my God. Did you get that list of all the stuff
What?
that's going on?
I can't even read it all.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
So December 5th from 5 to 7, $10 a person. And you paint, I think that you paint this. Let it snow.
And again, most of that stuff at the library.
Matt,
now, sometimes
I can't even go through this.
No, I didn't expect you to. I just thought maybe
children programs and youth programs. This is all at the library. And look at this. You can't see it, but look at how much stuff there is. Like look how much stuff there is, right?
That's all December?
This is all December.
Wow.
So children's programs ages 0 to 10 and then 11 through 17.
If people are listening rather than watching, Amy is holding up 2 different calendars. There's so much stuff going on at the library. They couldn't put it all onto one calendar. They had to have 2 calendars.
Yes.
And most of that stuff is free or very low cost.
There's bilingual story time, Mother Goose baby lap sit. So this is like bring your babies and enjoy stories and rhymes with retired teacher volunteers. It's very nice. Lego Club. This is in Thursday afternoons for kids 6 and up. Story time and another story time. Mr. Mike, that dude was there when Harrison was a little kid.
Was he?
Right? Yes, he was great. Virtual book club. There's a ton of stuff at our local library. It is a treasure that we have right here in our community. And how about everybody from the surrounding communities, like cough it up?
Yeah, chip in
a little bit, will you?
Stop cutting funding for the library.
Yes, exactly.
I would say if you're one of these people that sits and complains about how the new generation doesn't know anything and how they're all stupid and all they do is eat avocado toast, then you should probably donate some money to the library.
To the library to support.
Yeah, come on.
To support this.
Come on.
Stuff like this. Yeah, I do too. It's healthy fat.
I'm not even a millennial, I don't think.
My girlfriend makes it. It's really nice.
Right? I'll tell you who makes some good avocado toast is Honey's.
Okay, I've heard.
I haven't been up there since they've been at their new place up there behind the old Brian's.
Yeah, that's the corner of Jefferson and Charlotte.
Right. But when they were down in the terminal, I'd be going and getting some of that avocado toast every Sunday after
all
yoga.
The time.
Yeah.
So the next show that we have coming up is going to be Amy's Christmas shopping extravaganza.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm also, in order to promote this idea of shopping local, I'm going to have a contest. So there's going to be it's going to be trivia-esque, but it's going to require you to watch and listen to very carefully Amy's downtown Pottstown shopping guide, because if you answer all the questions correctly, I'm going to give you some gift certificates to local places where you can go and shop.
How very nice of you, Matt.
Yeah, so Porchtonians,
listen up.
Next
Get your
week,
pen and pencil. Get your pen and paper.
Listen to the show very carefully, because there's going to be some questions asked at the end of the show.
Right.
And if you haven't watched the show, you won't be able to answer the questions.
You got to be in it to win it.
I'm going to say I'm going to throw $100 worth of gift certificates out.
Nice.
Yep. I'm going to go to a couple different places.
Very nice.
Get a couple gift certificates, and somebody's going to win that prize for paying attention.
Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to focus on last year. I just focused on High Street between York and like Wheels in Motion.
Yeah,
right.
So that's
I might have to.
That's Washington.
I gotta do a little recon mission.
You might go back up to Adams.
Well, because we have some new businesses.
Okay.
You know, if we go up to Adams, I can include Little Italy and
the poorhouse.
The poorhouse, because I love Rocky. I love and I like it at the
poorhouse. Do it up.
Yeah.
Our show last year was an hour and a half
I know.
of shopping
and that was just
guide,
on High Street.
Just on High Street.
I didn't even talk about jeans lingerie.
No, because it's not on High Street.
No, right?
Yeah.
Come on, the place is legit. We had a whole conversation about that
It's
off
totally
air
legit.
last week. Totally legit. Yeah.
So next week, I'm excited for
I
thought you
too.
did such a great job last
Thank
year.
you. Thank you.
So that we're
It
going to
was
do
fun.
that again.
It was fun.
And I'm going to throw some money into this
Love it.
and encourage people to watch and shop local.
All right.
Remember, 80% of your dollars stay local when you shop local.
Do
Please
not have to worry about a rail strike when
Nope.
you are shopping local.
Nope, because those goods are already
They're
here.
already here. They're already here. All right.
All right, y'all. This has been Porchcast Pottstown. Tonight we've been talking with David Charles, longtime friend and Porchtonian in his
And
own right.
Second appearance, I think, right?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
his second appearance
Second
on the
time.
show.
Mhm.
Dave and I are going to be having a little chats with Dave coming up soon.
Absolutely.
We occasionally,
Oh.
Absolutely.
Dave and I
Nice.
occasionally drop a podcast,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're due for one.
We are due for one.
So
We
keep
are
your
due- I
eyes
got-
open for that.
Oh, yee.
Dave Charles from the Strive Initiative. Info at striveinitiative.org. My name is Matt Green. I am your local real estate expert. Please check out 12 Park Court while you're out and about enjoying Pottstown. Very beautiful home. I am your local real estate expert serving Pottstown and the surrounding areas, Berks, Chester, and Montgomery counties. Amy Wolf is the lovely office manager from Wolf Baldwin and Associates, bringing you fine legal service in the borough of Pottstown since 1974.
3.
3. I was thinking about myself because I was looking at myself. I was originated in 1974.
1974.
I was originated
I was
in 19-
originated just a couple of years before that. Just a couple.
So Amy Wolf at Wolf Baldwin Associates, bringing you fine legal service since 73. They are your workman's compensation specialists. If you have a workman's compensation issue, contact them first. Guess how
Not
much?
even think about settling your case until you talk to Levi. Don't you? He had a guy that came in yesterday.
Mhm.
The insurance company wanted to settle.
Mhm.
It was massive shoulder injury. They had $8,000 on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Levi was like,
Not
this
even.
is worth $45,000 at the very least.
Yeah.
At the very least. And the guy was almost ready to settle it for 8.
And he got 4 times
Well,
as
he's
much.
working on it. The guy just came in yesterday, but
Right.
Levi's
But
like,
you know what I mean?
he's been around a couple of years. So he's like, I
He
know what
knows.
this is
He
worth.
could look at it and eyeball it.
Yes.
And remember, your consultation for that is absolutely free.
Yeah. Even if you're already getting paid, they're probably calculating your average weekly wage wrong.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So if you
Worth
get
it.
hurt on the job, come down and
Yeah.
talk to Levi. It's not going to cost you anything. And in fact, you could make some money.
Definitely. And he's a nice guy.
Right on. This has been the latest episode of Porchcast. We are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.